Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into the story of a trader who became a millionaire by the time he was 21. But listen, this is not another one of those get-rich-quick fantasies. This is a story that starts in a place of total despair and ends up with a pretty surprising discovery about what freedom really means.
Can you even imagine feeling this way at just 16 years old? Well, for Brad Go, this was his reality. He felt completely trapped, blaming pretty much everyone, the world, even God, for his family's struggles and his own really deep insecurities.
So how in the world does someone go from that incredibly dark place to becoming a millionaire trader just 5 years later? You'd think it was some secret formula or a lucky break, right? But the real story? Well, it starts with absolute soul-crushing failure.
Yeah, Brad Go's path to millions didn't kick off with a string of amazing wins. Nope. It began with a brutal, relentless cycle of failure. We're talking losses so big they forced him to look in the mirror and confront every single one of his personal flaws.
So he started with just $1,000. And this wasn't just some fun money. This was everything he had, scraped together from working as a waiter for just $7 an hour. And he had this huge goal driving him. He wanted to become a millionaire by 30 so he could retire his dad.
In his very first year of trading, he blew through seven different trading accounts. He was on that classic emotional roller coaster, A small win would make him feel like a genius, he'd get super overconfident, and then bam, the market would come along and bring him crashing right back down to earth. And all those blown accounts, they added up to over $10,000. That was his entire life savings at the time. Just gone. He was totally stuck in this destructive loop, get cocky, take bigger and bigger risks, and then lose it all, over and over again. So eventually, he just hit a wall. He was so tired of chasing every new shiny object strategy he could find. And that's when he made a really critical decision. Instead of trying to add more complexity, he started subtracting. He went back and reviewed every single trade he'd ever made, kept what worked, and was absolutely merciless in cutting out what didn't. This was a huge turning point, for sure. But the biggest change was still to come, and it had nothing to do with trading charts. The real breakthrough, the moment that literally changed his entire life, happened so far away from a trading screen. It was during his mandatory military service, on this unbelievably difficult mission deep in the mountains of Brunei. So this was the moment of his complete breakdown, which, as it turns out, was also his breakthrough. Picture this, he's climbing a vertical mountain, carrying 40 kilos of gear. On the way down, he falls, snaps his ankle, and he still has 8 kilometers to go. The pain was just unbearable. He had hit his absolute physical and emotional limit. He was done. Now, this wasn't just some casual prayer. This was a moment of total surrender. He finally let go of all the anger and the blame he'd been holding on to for years and just gave up control. And in that exact moment of giving up, he says he found a strength he never knew he had. He got up, tightened his bandage, and somehow he finished the mission.
That whole experience on the mountain just completely redefined what he was even chasing in life. He realized the freedom that he thought he wanted, well, it wasn't what the world had been selling him at all.
He started to see these two very different kinds of freedom. You've got the fake freedom that the world sells you, the idea that if you just get enough money, all your problems will disappear. But he'd seen wealthy traders who were absolutely miserable, chained to their screens all day, basically slaves to the market.
And this realization completely changed his goal. True freedom, he figured out, wasn't about having more money in the bank. It was about finding a higher purpose. So instead of being a slave to his profits and losses, he chose to dedicate his efforts to what he calls serving God.
With this brand new perspective, his whole relationship with money was transformed. It wasn't the end goal anymore. He started to see it as something else entirely, a powerful tool. Yeah, he came to see money as this temporary thing. That's just a tool. It doesn't fix you. It actually just amplifies what's already inside of you. It's like a giant mirror that shows you who you really are. And this led to a critical realization. If you don't deal with your own inner flaws, your greed, your pride, your impatience, getting more money is only going to make them 1,000 times worse. It's like a magnifying glass. And for a trader, magnified flaws lead to one thing: magnified losses. Okay, so what's the one actionable thing you can take away from his entire journey? After trying countless strategies, it all boiled down to one thing: relentless, unwavering focus. He uses that famous line from The Matrix to make his point. The woman in the red dress, she represents any distraction that pulls you away from your main goal. As he puts it, If you try to chase 10 different rabbits at the same time, you're going to end up catching none. And he argues that our biggest problem today isn't information overload. We have tons of information. The real problem is something he calls implementation underload. We have all the knowledge, but we lack the focus to actually apply it. We get distracted, we get bored, and we quit long before we've put in enough reps to get anywhere close to mastery.
So here's his simple 4-step blueprint. It's not about finding 100 ways to make money. It's about finding one way and then repeating it with insane discipline until it starts to compound. The key is to focus on the process, which is the only thing you can control, and completely surrender the outcome and the timeline, which you can't.
So in the end, Brad Gaughan's story really leaves us with a powerful question. It's a challenge to all of us to look at our own lives and identify our distractions. What's the woman in the red dress that's pulling you off your path? Because real freedom and success, well, they might not come from adding more to our lives, but from having the courage to focus on the one thing that truly matters.